For the past 4 years, the Dennis Economic Development Committee has been studying the condition of our summer tourist economy. As the numbers will reveal, conditions are deteriorating. The hotel resort zoning proposal seeks to change all of this. What people are saying about Dennis hotels: this place is very clean but extremely dated. You can tell it was built in the 1950s and no renovations since. We stayed in a small room, not to mention the small kitchenette. The rooms are small and motelish but clean. Of the 5 closed hotels, 2 are in Dennisport. Of the 230 hotel rooms lost, 97 were eliminated. The remaining were converted to timeshares and lost from the transient tourist stock. Rooms tax revenue has dropped in the last decade by nearly 30%. This is quite dramatic given room rates have generally climbed during that decade. The loss is clearly tied to the overall loss in rooms. Overall, direct tourist expenditures in Dennis has dropped by nearly $8 million in less than a decade. With the loss in direct tourist spending, re-spending has also fallen, leading to an annual drop of almost $13 million in spending related to tourism, impacting as many as 210 jobs. Zoning has not protected the Dennis tourist economy. Zoning has left most hotel and motel properties as non-conforming and unable to modernize. The proposal seeks to create a resort renaissance that was called for in a Cape Cod Times editorial on April 15, 2008. The editorial hailed the efforts of Dennis and Yarmouth to invite new investment along our motel strips, which have been stuck in the past for a generation, throttled by zoning that stifled new development and even redevelopment of old motels. We are seeking to modify Dennis zoning to allow for reinvestment in Dennis hotels. For several years, the Economic Development Committee has met with hotel owners, area businesses, and other governmental officials to look at the needs and benefits of our tourism economy. The goals of the process has been to assess these needs and to modernize our tourism facilities, stemming the loss of rooms and recovering some of those that have been lost over the last decade. We are proposing 2 new zoning districts and for changes to hotels along Route 28. In Dennisport, we are recommending changes to Chase Avenue and a small portion of Old Wharf Road. In this area, hotel properties became non-conforming with the earliest adoption of zoning in Dennisport in 1973, trapping the area in the 1950s. We are recommending changes in height that will make the area comparable to that found in Harwich, Yarmouth, Barnstable, and Falmouth, but we are also instituting a bulk plane setback from the streets and protected open areas designed to reduce the height impacts on these properties. The goal is to restore this area to its past economic health. As early as the 1950s, the West Dennis area was zoned residential, making such uses as the area hotels, restaurants, and yacht club non-conforming. This proposal seeks to recognize the historic land patterns in this area. While the West Dennis zoning could allow for a potential doubling of hotel rooms, the limitations in place due to wastewater treatment requirements in areas subject to flooding will limit any substantial growth opportunity. Motels along Route 28 have suffered greatly due to current zoning. This proposal seeks to provide opportunities for hotel properties to upgrade and modernize. There have been many questions about the visual impacts of the taller structures in Dennisport. The goals of this proposal is to allow for greater flexibility in site development under a special permit controlled by the Dennis Planning Board. Current height restrictions allow for 35-foot tall buildings with little design control. The proposal, through the bulk plane setback and special permit control by the Planning Board, seeks more flexibility and greater site design control for the town. The bulk plane setback will actually push both existing and proposed maximum heights further away from the street than is presently required. Under current zoning, the structures on either side of Seaview Park can be expanded. The proposal seeks to give the Planning Board the tools to work with the landowner and the allowed building envelopes to find the best design for the reuse of these properties. Parking under structures, bulk plane setbacks, and other incentives to reinvest in properties will all provide opportunities to redesign existing non-conforming properties. The zoning provides the possibility of recovering from the past decade's loss of hotel accommodations along Chase Avenue and the possibility for future growth in the Dennis tourist economy in this area. The town will benefit from improved wastewater treatment, property values, greater tourist spending, and increased job opportunities, and our summer visitors will enjoy improved accommodations. The proposed hotel resort bylaw will create the resort renaissance identified by the Cape Cod Times. It will kickstart our stalled tourist economy by bringing accommodations into the 21st century.